Excuse me. Pardon me.
Hey, sit down.
I think with R-rated movies, obviously little kids and babies especially should not go to R-rated movies. It just doesn't make sense. Especially since I can't really think of many children being that interested in seeing an R-rated film. It seems like a bunch of the parents who haul their kids off to R-rated movies are just shitty people who didn't want to get a babysitter and want to ruin everyone else's time. I have sat through R-rated films where someone brought their fucking baby to the movie and that little shit cried the entire time. And it just made me wonder, why couldn't you just, ask your neighbor to sit your kid? Why do you have to ruin everyone else's night and bring your little asshole to the theater with you? It doesn't make sense. The same goes for, kids maybe who are 5 to 10. It doesn't seem like there's anything in an R-rated film that would interest them. It's a bunch of selfish parents bringing their kids along with them because they suck. With teenagers, it varies. It really depends on the precocity of the teenager and the movie that's being shown. I really don't have an issue with teenagers at R-rated movies, personally as a film goer and an audience member, as long as they observe good manners. But definitely children in R-rated movies makes no sense to me, and that's the fault of shitty parents.
I think they should lower the age range to 14, because seriously, it's getting annoying now where all my horror movies or anything with violence or possible tits gets taken out just to make a movie PG-13. You're in high school at that point. You're already having premarital sex, getting into fights, using drugs and drinking underage. So, fuck it, lower their age, man. This is fucking ratings, man.
I don't really care whether or not a kid sees an R-rated movie because it's up to the parents. You hope the parents are responsible enough to say, hey, I'm not gonna let my kid watch movies, or R-rated movies. I know, like, my little cousin, he's like 7, and he's already so into zombie movies and zombie games, so they're gonna get that stuff either way. And he knows, that stuff. He knows it's not real. Kids are smarter now. We got to give them more credit for, not being influenced by this stuff. This is the ratings stuff has been. It's an old relic from dudes dudes who feared change, and things are changing. I don't say throw out the rating system completely, because it actually helps out a lot of parents. I've seen some parents turn away from like a game or a movie by going, hey, the content's not appropriate for you. But then again, appropriateness is subjective. It's, how much do you think your kid can handle?
Depends on what you call kid. So having it being 17 years old seems a little high. 16 sounds more than reasonable to me. Heck, I was going into rated R movies when I was like 14 years old because I just looked older, and they never carded me. They never checked me. I don't know the last time I ever got carded for a movie theater to begin with. So but that's irrelevant. Honestly, it seems reasonable for it to be like 16. Like 17 is just that weird age between like 18 and 16. And if you make it 18, that's just absurd. That's actually rated X territory right there. So to make it a difference between 17 and 18, no. Let's drop it down to 16. That way, actually, you see more. You are allowed to have more people to see the movie, technically, even though they probably do already. So this is almost irrelevant to begin with. But no, 17 is too high. 16 sounds reasonable. But should kids younger than that see it? No, that. Not really. That comes down to the parents' opinion and see how mature their children are. Now, if their child is not remotely mature, then no. Why should they be allowed to see it? But if they feel that their child is relatively mature, they can handle things. They know that it's not real. I see no reason why they couldn't see. They shouldn't be allowed to be in a radar movie.
Honestly, I don't really care about teenagers. I don't really care if they're allowed to go see R-rated movies or not. I feel like kids these days are gonna find ways to watch an R-rated movie, even if they're not allowed to go to the theater. They're gonna download it, they're gonna watch it online, they're gonna find some way to watch it. I don't really care. Honestly, I don't really have an opinion about that. But what I do think is unacceptable is when people bring like their like young kids, like babies and stuff, to movie theaters, like already movies, like that should not happen. Like I don't care if it's with their parent, like nobody wants your baby there, and your kid should not be obviously exposed to like things in R-rated movies and stuff like when they're that young. Like it just should not be allowed. So I don't like that at all. But like older kids, like teenagers and stuff, it's kind of up to the parents' discretion. But also, I just don't really care. So this is kind of a bad answer. But yeah, no babies, though. Sorry.
Sometimes I feel like the movie rating system is kind of old-fashioned and should be abolished or at least edited or redone. I remember being in high school when the third Matrix film came out, and only one of my friends was 17. The rest of us were 16 or younger. And I don't remember the theater attendant actually checking our ID for the film. I feel like once you're in high school, you know, you're kind of at that age where you're ready for, you know, R-rated shit. I think before high school, even, you know, those few months, they may not make a big difference, but it kind of carries that gravity where like, oh, I'm in high school versus, oh, I'm an 8th grade senior. I don't know, it's kind of a slippery slope. In terms of parents bringing their kids into R-rated films, I don't think that's a good idea at all. Partially because, you know, you don't really want to hear little kids making a lot of noise during a film, and because maybe they're not going to be ready for it. Then again, you know, I don't have any kids, and, you know, those are their children.